So for the life of me, I could not figure out how to record my screen and me talk at the same time, so I'm just using my phone to record my presentation with me talking over it. I hope you guys enjoy. So I chose Mesopotamia. Where is Mesopotamia? Mesopotamia is in West Asia. It is between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. It is now known as Iraq on the maps that we have today, so if you were to go look up Mesopotamia, you would more than likely see that it now is Iraq and Iran and all of that over there. Mesopotamia was actually split up into smaller sections similar to Portland, for example. So Mesopotamia was the main city and place that it was called, but in Portland we have Southwest Portland, Southeast Portland, and Downtown Portland. They had Eridu, Nippur, Lagish, Kish, Ur, and Uruk. And Uruk was actually the first city that they had made. And then you can see right here is the Euphrates River and the Tigris River, and all of the green shaded area all in here is where Mesopotamia is, and the green shaded area is the Fertile Crescent. For culture, Mesopotamia was also known as Sumer, and the Sumerians made the most cultural advances overall between all of the cities. For starters, they developed language, governance, architecture, as well as agriculture. Sumerian is the oldest known spoken language, going back to 3100 BC, and they eventually made a written language known as cuneiform. After they developed writing, they made written laws, which ties back into governance. Sorry. And this top picture is just some cuneiform. It's their writing that archaeologists have found. And then below is what the alphabet is. Architecture. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. The houses were made out of mud bricks or bundled marsh reeds. This is a picture of what a house looked like. They all, for the most part, had flat roofs and arched doorways for most of the buildings that you would go to. And inside most of the buildings, they added mosaics, columns, and paintings. Here's a picture of a painting, and if you look up mosaics that they have done, they're actually really pretty, and they put a lot of effort into the inside of houses and buildings. They wanted to make them look really nice, and that's another part of their culture, was that they were always making new art forms. They had mosaics and paintings, and they carved out pictures in the walls, and they made pottery, and they wove, and they even did some carpentry too that tied into it. Agriculture. The Sumerians were known for their development in agriculture. They made ditches, so when there would be a flood, all of the water, the hope was that it would go into the ditches instead of going into the cities and destroying everything. Farming and raising cattle was another thing that they did that made them so advanced. They had crops that provided food as well as medicine for them, and they raised cattle for food as well as clothing and blankets. So in these pictures you can see the ditches, and so this is after a flood, and so they have water running through it, and it's also tied to the rivers so that way they can get fresh water and avoid having it go through the city. And you can also see a part of the architecture too, all the flat tops of the buildings. Medicine. The Sumerians' medicine was a mix of magic and herbalism. They made huge advances by discovering how to remove chemical elements from natural substances to make medicine. So, going back to the agriculture, they took plants that they had and they removed certain chemical elements from it, and that's how they made their medicine. And that's a picture of the medicine and the herbs that they would use. I couldn't find anything on the magic that they used. I could only mainly find like herbalism information. They also made advances in anatomy and surgery. Archaeologists have found surgical supplies and believe they have performed surgical procedures. So this picture over here is some of the surgical supplies that they have found. And this is a picture of what medicine looks like. So when in the cuneiform and like on their buildings, to know that that was like a medical place, that's one of the pictures that they would have up. And that meant medicine. Summary. Mesopotamia was a huge contributor to our modern day tech. They developed language, architecture, medicine, and agriculture. They also used everything they had available to them to learn, develop, and thrive. One thing that I did notice when I was researching is that a lot of the stuff that we use today and techniques that we use were developed by them. So when you think about time, how there's 60 seconds in a minute and there's 60 minutes in an hour, they were one of the first ones to come. They were the first ones to come up with that and have it be a standard practice that that's how time worked. And I think that is all. Thank you for watching.